Sorry, y'all. Make you dizzy. Okay. Here's the facts. I am sick. It has taken me over 2 hours just to get dressed, take my morning meds, and try to wake up enough that I can work on this. I even had to use my inhaler today. Really wish I had some mullein tea to help with this chest. As it is, I think I'm gonna go to grab some Vicks. That's where I am. Today, I need to try and get as much of this finished, organized as I can. But I want to take a moment and tell you about coming to Colorado. First off, as soon as I hit the Denver area, which was like 10 minutes after I woke up from Kansas, I thought I was further out, but I wasn't. Or maybe it just felt like it was closer than it was. But it seemed like within half an hour of my leaving my Kansas camp that I was in Denver traffic. So whether or not I was actually in Denver, I don't know. But that's when all the traffic started. So for me, who has big city anxiety, big traffic anxiety, panic attacks, it was rough. And my stupid mic is not on. So hope you even heard me. Let's see. Maybe turning the mic on just might help. Did I mention my head is just... Excuse me. But anyhow, once I hit that big city traffic, I was just petrified. You know, I was white-knuckling it the whole time, praying constantly. I knew the Lord was there. I knew angels were protecting me because that's what I was praying for, and the Lord always knows what we need ahead of time. People actually listen to my signals. I was really surprised. You know, you get into a lot of that big city traffic and you're petrified you're in the wrong lane and everything. And then you have to get over and there's so much traffic you can't get over. So basically you have to sit there and signal and pray and So yeah, that was that day. I was very fortunate. At one point, the Lord says, see that truck up there? I want you to follow it. Just follow it. And I did. It was, I don't know if it was the color of the truck or what, if it was just that dirty. But basically the back end looked like an old chalkboard. You know, that kind of dusty black kind of thing. But I got behind it, and it kept me in the right lanes until just after I got through the Denver traffic, and then it had to veer off because it couldn't get up the mountain as quickly. And then I got to going up the mountains, and it was all construction, so basically it was still white-knuckling it because you had trucks, you could smell their brakes burning because of having to apply their brakes so much. I mean, it's one thing if the truck can go down a hill at 70 miles an hour, and that's basically what the speed limit was the original speed limit was 70, 75. But we were stuck going at 45, and so they were applying their brakes constantly in order to get down. And I'm sure that they were smart enough and they shifted down, and all of that stuff too. But nevertheless, they were still having to apply their brakes consistently, and you could smell it. I was sometimes worried that my brakes were what I was smelling, and it wasn't, because at one point I took the opportunity, because I was so shaky and everything from so many hours of it, that I took a random exit just so I could get off, and even if it just went back on the highway, at least I could brake for a moment and sit and relax and cool my jets. But I ended up in a little town. Can't remember what it was called now, but it was a little town, and it had a McDonald's, and it had a gas station, and so I was able to pull off there and rest for a while. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me get my drink. It's too cold. My mug right now is just, no falling allowed. I have ice left in my mug from last night, and it's too cold to drink right now with my chest feeling like this, so. Besides, you can always drink room temp water a lot easier than you can icy cold water, and you need to stay hydrated. At least I do, or I have muscle spasms and cramps in my muscles. I mean, even in my toes. I mean, cramps in your toes, come on, that's just wrong. Especially when you're trying to sleep. So you gotta stay hydrated, always stay hydrated. No matter what you're doing, stay hydrated. I did find at one point that I was having so many cramps that I looked up, and I found not only is it a part of the dehydration, but the buildup of uric acid, similar to when you get gout. And I get gout in the shoulder here. So let me tell you, the story behind that was really rough. I was helping out my mom, and I could not even lift the back hatch in order to get our walkers out. And I went to doctor 3 different times. He couldn't figure out what it was until one night I had a dream, and in my dream I heard the words, "But what if it's gout?" As far as I knew, you could only get gout in your feet. That's the only stories that I'd ever heard, is people with gout in their feet. So I woke up, started researching on my phone, and found out you can get gout in any joint, any of them. But one of the normal ones is in your shoulders. And so I went that day, I got tart cherry juice, because you have to not only have the tart cherry juice, you also have to drink more water so that you can flush out the crystals and uric acids. And so I took 1 quart of tart cherry juice. I mean, come on, it's $6 a bottle. You can only afford so much. And I mixed it with a gallon of water. So basically I mixed some in my mug, and then some water in my mug, and then I put the rest in here so that I would have a mixture. It not only made it so I would drink more of the water because it was flavored, and it was a good flavor. It wasn't, overly tart like drinking the straight juice was. So learned that lesson well. So anyhow, the muscle cramps are very similar to gout in that it's a buildup of uric acid. And so I grabbed my jar of tart cherry juice. I always keep at least one jar with me for just in case my gout acts up. And that's what I did. And it helped so much. But then, back to the story. Sorry, back to the story. I got to Colorado here, to Grand Junction, and I decided, well, I'll go pick up something at the grocery store, and we'll have a treat when I get to my brother's house and such. And got to the store, and they had chicken on sale, whole chickens. And I'm like, it was, I think it was like $1.60 a pound or something. It was really cheap, especially compared to the prices here. They're exorbitant. More so than anywhere else I've been so far on this trip. Eggs, blimey, eggs are, I can't afford eggs here. I could get sausage, onions, mushrooms, all for the price of one 12 count of eggs. Yeah. I could live without eggs for a little while at that price. So anyhow, I stopped to get some food. I called up my brother. He didn't answer. Called my sister-in-law. She didn't answer. Called my sister because she lives there with him, and she finally answered. But she was so panicked because of the change, and she's a sweetheart. I mean, I know she loves me, but she was so panicked because she didn't expect me. And I thought that all of my family were watching the videos and everything, and they were right along with me and knew, that at least if they didn't know the exact day, because I didn't know the exact day, at least they were, clued in that it would be sometime soon, especially when I hit Kansas. But I guess none of them were watching, and so it totally took them all off guard, and not a pleasant off guard, because I found out that my sister-in-law was sick, my niece and my sister were going to be leaving for the hospital the next day for surgery for my niece, and my sister was going to be helping take care of her and helping her with her recovery, and just all of this stuff was piled on top of them, and then I showed up. And so it wasn't a pleasant family reunion as I thought it would be. But it was okay. I mean, we did get to visit for a day before, everybody took off hither, thither, and yonder. And my poor brother, he works this job where he has to split his sleeping schedule. He doesn't even get a full 7 hours in a row. He has to say, here's 3 hours and here's another 3, and somehow this has to work for him in order to work this job and work his family life and all of that. My sister-in-law was sick, of course, and so it was rough, and I ended up sleeping on the street, sleeping in my van, And my hair just came down, darn it. Listen here, you. Pardon me a moment. Here, hopefully that'll fix it for a while. But my sister and my niece left the next day, and my brother had put me up in a hotel the night I turned up in town, because he was, poor guy, he was so trying to be helpful in everything, in spite of everything he was going through. I love him so much. And I think he could tell that I was shaken from going through Denver and down the mountains and everything with the construction. And I really needed it. And they had this huge, wonderful, deep, soaking, handicapped bathtub that I bought some Epsom salts and I soaked in that for well over an hour. And it helped so much with all my muscle cramps and everything. And then, then I went over to his house the next day when he had his day off. And we got to talk and spend time together. And then I ended up sleeping in a Maverick. I never knew that a Maverick that was as big as a truck stop, but this one was. And so I slept with this Maverick and then was out scouting parks looking for my brother that is homeless in this area. I still haven't found him. My hope was that I could find him and give him some of my excess canned goods and stuff and help him out. And just plain give him a hug, because, I know he doesn't have family around much, but a hug would be nice. But I haven't been able to find him. I asked people, do you know Spencer? He goes by Spencer. His name is actually Bill. Well, it's actually William. Growing up, he was called Bill William because Dad was, I don't know exactly why, because I think his mom called Dad Bill, and his family called Dad Ernest, and then started calling him Bill, some of them. So in order to differentiate between William, Ernest, Spencer, the first and the second, we called little Bill, Bill William. Kind of strung the nickname and the full name together there. But anyhow, I've heard that he goes more by Spencer now. So I've been looking for him. And if just to say, hey, I love you, no matter what you're going through, God's got this, he can help. Keep going. Those sorts of things to let my brother know that he is loved. And I know he's been in trouble with the law and stuff because of his anger issues, and I hope he's gotten some help with that. But he still deserves love. He's had it rough in his life. And even I wasn't the best sister. I admit to that. I was not the best sister in the world. I probably added to his hardships. But I hope that he forgives me. It sounds really long-winded, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try and put this so that it'll like speed up. I'm gonna like stop here and then I'm going to, oh, wait, just a minute. Let me finish a story. I have a hard time finishing a story. But anyhow, the day that I spent at Mavericks and went searching at parts, I was out in the heat and it was well over 100, and that was here where we didn't even have the heat index. And my girlfriend Carolyn says, well, why don't you go visit the Family History Center? At least you'll have some coolness, and you know, maybe somebody can find you at least maybe a church member that I could stay with or something like that. And I was just thinking I'd just be happy to have a set driveway that I could park in. But as it was, while I was there, first off, I met a lot of wonderful women that were doing their family history. And second off, they got a hold of I think the name is different now, but basically it's the transient bishop for the church. And I think they call him a transient manager now, something like that. But anyhow, they put me up in a hotel for a week or so while my brother is dealing with his crisis and everything. And so the girls are supposed to be getting back here soon, and I'll be able to go visit them. And then in a few days I'll camping and stuff, I'll go on and take off up to Utah. But first, as you can see, I took everything out of my van. Well, not everything, but I took a lot of the odds and ends stuff out of my van so that I could start organizing it. And I've been living and making a mess as I go along. It seems like making more of a mess than I am cleaning. But I have organized a few things that I've already put back in the van. And this is the last of it. I went and washed laundry yesterday. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to stop this one and then start a new one. And the new one, I'm going to do that fast forward kind of thingy so that I just I work through it at my pace, but you see it a whole lot faster. And basically I will show you what I'm going to do as far as making more space for my clothing. And I've already done this to some material and some quilts and things like that, but I still have more of these compression bags to do this with. So you'll get to see me do that. I'm going to do like 3 outfits in each bag because they're fairly large. Even their medium is a pretty large bag. So I'm going to do that. And basically I'm going to do my winter clothes all together so that, because I don't get into them very frequently. And if I only have to open one bag for 3 days worth of clothes for the other option, then I won't have as much bulk to move from the back seat to the front or whatever I have to do to organize it in the van. And then I'll try and give you an update of what the van looks like for when I'm traveling in another video, because I want to get this one out today. I've only got till about 3 or so, because I have a wonderful friend that I met in Utah, and she moved to Grand Junction, and I always wanted to get her and my sister-in-law together. Come to find out, she lives like half a block away, and they have never met. Totally insane. And now my friend is moving back to Utah. So they probably never will meet. like, they would have loved each other. They really would have. They're like two peas in a pod. But I'm rambling, so I'm gonna get busy. And I'm just gonna put this on as fast a speed as my camera allows. But God bless y'all. A little bit of close-up so you can see what I did. Here I labeled, let me put it so you can read it right side up. My hair things, my crochet stuff. I'm still looking for a tiny pair of scissors that I have to put in with this so that I'll have them when I need to cut. I also, wherever I put my sewing kit, I have a small, really cute little stork scissors that a friend of mine gave me. And then this is basically what some would call the junk drawer, but it's a manageable size. Basically, it's my art, my scraps to my old purse that I'm going to be using in an art piece, tacks, some suction cup hooks, and some empty bottles in case I need them for something later. My massage thing really helps when my legs are cramping. I did not get this online. I got this at a local Walmart in the exercise section. My pins and the suction thingies to use for my bags. I've got my last two here. I don't know what was wrong with that one large one, but that's the second time I have tried to use it and had it not work properly. So I may have to send that one back. But as you can see, for the most part, these suction things out really well. Let me turn to the front. This one is a large one. I'm sure it says it on here somewhere. I'm not seeing it at the moment. But it does keep out the dust and the moisture and the everything. You know, no humidity, reusable, yada yada. These things are easy to get lost if you're not watching what you're doing. But no matter where you put it on the bag, it's not going to undo like a Ziploc bag. If you go one way, it zips it up, and if you go the other way, it unzips. This is not what this does. This one just applies pressure. Either way it's going, it applies pressure. And then this is a one-way valve, and very, very easy, as you saw me doing it. And you know, with all my arthritis and everything else, those kind of things are not real easy for me. But this was pretty easy and fast, even though in the video I did, I was at 16 times, so like it was uber fast. But let me turn my camera around here. Let's see, is this the one? Oh, let me just, that didn't work. Okay, I'll have to pause. Right, as you can see, I still have a lot to get up and done before tomorrow, but it's mostly like harnessing the wires into the Ziploc bags and the hard drives, odds and end little things that I didn't have before but I got for my grandbabies, and stuff like that that I need to go and I need to put down in the tote for things I plan on giving away. I probably should have brought the stand over here to stabilize this while I'm doing this part, but honestly, all I wanted to say is God bless y'all. Sometimes He gives us so many blessings that we don't know what to do with them all. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling very overwhelmed. The local ward really set me up, or wards, however the transient ministry works here. But they really did set me up. They set me up for about a week and a half here in the hotel, so I wouldn't be out in the heat while I was waiting for everyone to finish their operations and stuff like that. And I really hope that I get to see them before I leave, because this may be a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and, well, it probably will be, to be honest. But I'm honest with myself that way. And I don't know where the camera is coming there. That looks a little bit more even. But I will try to film as I put things in the vehicle so that you can get an idea of where things are going. And then I can show you where it is at this point. I mean, I won't finish redoing things, at least definitely not during this trip, until at least I go over to my daughter's house, which is the next stop in Utah. And she's going to help me with making a bed, and hopefully I can find some racks that will go on my vehicle so that I can put the things like, the tools and things like that that I don't get into except for in an emergency or once a trip, once a stop kind of thing, so that I can put that up on top of the car and give me a little extra room there in the car. And, I wanted to tell you about these baskets. The white baskets you saw me using, I got those at Walmart. I would say if you like them, get them while you can, because they seem to be selling out fairly quickly. And they're only $5. Well, they're $4.50 something. So they're less than $5. They're very pliable. You saw how nice and sturdy they are, but yet at the same time, I can squish them. I can, do whatever I need to, and they pop right back up. So this is a good product and very handy for those of us who need to move things back and forth as we are traveling, especially where I put my stuff on the back floorboard, and then behind the driver's seat, and then I put it on the driver's seat when I go to set up for bed at night. Just a reminder, I am listing all of the individual sizes for those bags. I really do like them, except for that one bag. I've had no problem with them at all. Some of the bags, I have had quilts and things in, since I started the journey. So, a few weeks here. So they're doing good. I move them every night. They go up on the cooler at night, and they go back on the bed and lay nice and flat for me during the day so that I can see out my back window. So I'm sorry, that light is just in the way, isn't it? Hold on. There's no reason for that. There we go. So sorry to be blinding you. Was not the plan, but I am feeling a little bit better today after having my Equate Cold Relief. It's the same as Alka-Seltzer, but it's Equate brand from Walmart, and it did help with the sinuses and such to feel better. As far as being healed, well, that will take time. We know that. And I just need to take the time. That's okay. I'll take the time. But God bless y'all. Thank you so much for following me. Oh, I am supposed to say, when I put those links to the bags down there, remember that I am an affiliate of Amazon now, so I will get a small stipend for the sales on those. But you do have to click through the link that I give you in order for that to happen. And that includes each size. That's why I'm putting each size separately for the link. So, you know, that would be nice. It would be nice. So far, I wanted to tell you that in my stuff that talks about all the, what I made for ads and stuff like that, the AdSense stuff, it has brought in, I believe it said $58. Of course, I don't get any of it until it reaches 100. But thankfully, somebody donated on my PayPal account, and it's a really good time because I'm just about to head off again, and I could really use the gas money. But I just wanted to say thank you. I'm not good with names, or I'd mention names probably, but then again, maybe you don't want me to, and that's okay too. But God bless y'all. You have a wonderful day, and I'll try and finish up the video that I'm going to work on tomorrow as I pack up out of here, and then I will get that up on Monday or Tuesday. God bless y'all.